Season 1995-96 was another remarkable success for Glasgow Rangers, in which they not only won the Premier League for the 8th time in a row, but completed the double, overcoming Hearts in the Scottish Cup final. Back in July 1995, preparations for the campaign began with a tour of Denmark, followed by the pre-season tournament between Spurs, Sampdoria and Steaua Bucharest. It was the first time the fans had seen Paul Gascoigne at Ibrox, and a great deal was expected of the £4.3 million signing. Gaza was determined not to let them down.
Quickly underneath, there's a good flick for Laudrup. Gascoigne's in the middle, and in from Laudrup, Gascoigne. His first goal at Ibrox, and the paying public love it.
After overcoming Steaua Bucharest 4-0, the final against Sampdoria was won when Ibrox regulars Gordon Jury and Ali McCoist hit the net.
Lovely long ball for Trevor Stephen. Looking up to see what's in the middle. Gordon Jury. Jury strikes for Rangers. Kalichenko. Franceschetti with the challenge, but Kalichenko doing well to link with Jury. Here's Ali McCoist, and he scores! Ali McCoist with the all-important second goal for Rangers.
Little did the Ibrox men know that the pre-season tournament, and especially the Steaua game, was to be an important rehearsal for their forthcoming European confrontations.
I thought the pre-season tournament this year was a big advantage to us because we had a steady squad there. We hadn't as many injuries as we had even starting the season the previous year, and we got a couple of good results against Steaua Bucharest and against Sampdoria, so they were good performances from us and they set us up well for the European game.
However, it was the League Championship which remained of paramount importance to Rangers, and despite continued success in the previous year, Walter Smith again entered the transfer market in the closed season. Apart from the acquisition of midfielder Paul Gascoigne from Italian giants Lazio, also joining up at Ibrox defender Stephen Wright from Aberdeen in a £1.5 million move. And the giant Serbian Gordan Petric from Dundee United, again in a £1.5 million move.
I think that we'll always have to do that. I think we'll have to keep freshening things up a bit. Supporters and everybody demand that. We also looked back over the last couple of seasons where we've been trying to change our squad around, and I feel we're getting to the stage now where we just need the last couple of pieces just to fit into place, and I would hope that we maybe get back to the same strength as we were 2 or 3 seasons ago.
I think players have just got to, we accept, I mean, you can read things in the press and 95% of the time it's not right. Last year at the time we were on about Gaza coming, people saying, oh, Gaza won't be coming, and yet he's here. But that's what Rangers is all about, and that's for the good of the club. But it gives you more competition as well, and everyone fights a little bit harder to be involved. Hopefully, what's going to be another successful season. So it's good all round for everybody.
The European campaign began in earnest when Rangers had to beat the Cypriot side Anorthosis Famagusta in order to qualify for the lucrative Champions League. Again, it was a fixture which took place even before the domestic season had begun.
The European game itself is always a difficult one. It's coming at a time of the season when none of the teams are in full competitive fitness, if you like. I mean, we're just playing pre-season friendlies and then going right into what is, financially probably our most important game of the season, and it's a very difficult one. So there's a lot of tension involved in it, a lot of nerves involved in it. And when we drew the Cypriot team, there was no way I considered it to be an easy game, and as it turned out, that was the case.
Indeed, despite intense pressure like this when Stuart McCall hit the bar, it took until the 68th minute for Gordon Jury to break the deadlock. The defence-splitting pass from Gascoigne was to be a hallmark of his Premier League season.
He certainly got that ball through. Jury! Yes! Gordon Jury scores for Rangers! 68 minutes gone, and Gordon Jury makes the breakthrough. Well, just when it seemed it wouldn't come, almost out of nothing.
With that slim lead, it was vital Rangers did not concede an away goal in Cyprus. As in previous encounters abroad, the home fans were determined to unsettle their guests. The Ibrox men faced the match without Brian Laudrup, who sustained an injury on international duty, which meant he would miss 4 matches. The match itself was very tense, and Charlie Miller felt he should have had a penalty in only the 6th minute.
Great play by Miller.
It was Miller again who came close in the second half when he shot just over the bar, with the Cyprus keeper well beaten. Anothisis came close near the end of the match, but the skill of Andy Gorham was again to prove invaluable. At the final whistle, there was a tremendous feeling of achievement, not only amongst the players, but in the dugout.
Your season's tainted before you start if you don't win it. If you don't get into the Champions League, people are saying your season's failed and you've not even played your first league game. So it's a bit unfair, I feel, in the clubs, that one. And as I stress to people, there is a hell of a tension on it, you know. And, fortunately we get through in that one and into the Champions League. And we would hope to do that again next season. But it is a very difficult match to overcome, that one.
The domestic league season began against Kilmarnock at Ibrox, but Rangers were without Paul Gascoigne after he was taken off against Anorthosis. Also out was striker Mark Hateley. However, new signing Oleg Salenko made his first appearance in Rangers colours.
Charlie Miller, good skills by him. Getting away from Ali Mitchell, stabbing it down the line for Robertson. Robertson using his pace, doing well. It's McCoist, and the great save by Lekovic. Well, superb play by Rangers. Robertson, who can deliver the long throw. It's in towards Richard Gough. It comes off Whitworth. Here's a chance for McCoist, and it's McCall. Stuart McCall scores for Rangers.
1-0 Kilmarnock, okay. As I've told the boys, that's won the league for us. That first goal, it might have seemed silly at the time. 79th minute, first game of the season. Wee man pops up and goes, hey. Never scored like 7 months later, but I mean, it was important.
After that most vital goal, at least according to Stuart, Rangers overcame Stirling Albion in the Coca-Cola Cup by 3-2. It was to be the last match for striker Mark Hateley when he confirmed the speculation about his future when he went to QPR for £1.5 million. It was the end of a very successful partnership.
Well, that's part of the changes we had to make, and I always knew that replacing that partnership was going to be the most difficult thing. A lot of the other stuff that we played 2 or 3 years ago was built around Mark Hateley. He was the focal point of a lot of our attacks, good in the air, get yourself about. But you rely on your individuals then, and I think that, for Brian Laudrup, he took a lot of the responsibility in the early part. Paul Gascoigne came in and helped him. And I was pleased at the number of goals that we've scored this year, considering the fact that we have lost what was probably the best striking partnership in British football.
From a personal point of view, that was a massive blow to myself, because Big Mark and I had formed a great partnership up front for Rangers. But like everything, all good things have got to come to an end, and there's nobody missed Mark more than myself. But I think we moved on and we adopted a different style of play, if you like, and it proved to be successful.
The fourth round of the Coca-Cola Cup provided the first Old Firm clash at the new Parkhead. The Celtic fans were in a party mood, but the 4,500 Rangers supporters were desperate for their team to do well after a disappointing game in Bucharest where they lost 1-0 in the Champions League. But Europe was the furthest thing from their mind that night.
They were going back to a new stadium with full of optimism. You could sense that going in the night of the League Cup game. That was the tide turning from a Celtic point of view. Their stadium was starting to be put in place. They had recruited another couple of players. Everything was on the up, and you could get that feeling when you came. And I stated to the players at Rangers that probably the 2 matches we were going to play against them were as important Old Firm games as we've played in the last 10 years. There was no doubt that we had to make sure that we were going to show that we weren't going to be displaced easily.
Laudrup has David Robertson outside him. McCoy's calling for the ball in the middle. Salenko is short. This is Laudrup. Good running again by Robertson. A chance for Rangers. Beaten away brilliantly by Marshall. A chance though for Celtic. Andreas Tom. Rudi Vata has scored against Rangers from a free kick at the end of the last season. And John Collins makes a habit of it. He's over the ball. There's Collins. Magnificent save from Gorham. Count is even. Arms flailing around there. Petric looking for space. Goff also is there. It was very well won by Hughes. Didn't fall kindly for Miller. Gascoigne. Great chance there. It's in. It's a goal for Rangers. Scored by McCoist.
It was just magic because Gascoigne floated over an absolutely magnificent ball, which I was fortunate enough to head in the back of the net to do a nice wee dance in front of the new stand. Gave me a lot of pleasure.
And McCoy celebrates again, the man with the golden touch.
But Rangers lost their next league game to Hibs by a single goal. However, they recovered to turn in a good performance against German champions Borussia Dortmund when they drew 2-2 at Ibrox. The Old Firm were due to meet for the second time in 2 weeks, this time in the League Championship. Even at that early stage in the season, Walter Smith realised Celtic were the main threat.
There was no doubt of that. Last season, the first season that had been Tommy Burns there as manager, they were beginning to get a new board. They were putting their stadium in place. They were building up for it. They have the biggest motivation to stop Rangers trying to get 9 in a row. I felt that they would be as strong as they've been for many seasons, and that was proved to be correct.
Good play by Vata away from Cleland. Great chance for Celtic. Donnelly doing well. The deflection. He takes the ball wide. Salenko. Well, that's good play. Good footwork. Looking for Cleland. Great header. Alan Cleland for Rangers. Jubilation among the Rangers supporters. The cross was perfect. The header was precise and deliberate. And Rangers take the lead. Josh McKinley. Van Hooydonk waits in the middle. Poor cross though, one easily by McLaren. 2 against 2 up front here. Salenko and McCoist together. That's good play by Salenko. McCoist is Gascoigne racing through the middle. It's great play for Rangers. And Gascoigne has scored! It's a magnificent goal by Gascoigne. How he milks the moment.
I enjoyed seeing the ball go right to Coisty from our leg, and I just kept on running, and then he seen it, and it was brilliant. Great feeling. One of my best goals ever because the fans were giving us a lot of stick, and who had all the pies. And be fair, the Celtic fans got more pies than me because when I stuck that in the net, the game was over with, and they left. And obviously on the way out the ground, I hope they bought themselves a pie.
Gazza's first league goal couldn't have come against more appropriate opposition, making him the latest hero of the Ibrox supporters, despite playing only 9 games. And in that kind of form, he wasn't about to let them down in the next Premier League fixture, this time in front of 40,000 loyal fans.
This is Jury, coming off his marker well. Alec Dillon on the near side. Mikhailchenko in space. Gascoigne going through, a chance here to score. That's a brilliant finish by Gascoigne. Appeared from nowhere inside the box. Gascoigne again with Mikhailchenko. Weaving through the defence, it's great play. Still Gascoigne. Wouldn't run kindly in the end. He's chronic knee problems before. Great header by McCoist. Rangers are back in the lead, and that was masterly.
But delight turned to concern when Paul Gascoigne had to be carried off with what looked like a serious injury. Worse was to come when Ali McCoist walked off with an abductor strain after his attempt on goal. To add to the manager's problems, the Danish internationalist Brian Laudrup had not played since September the 27th and would be out until late November.
He was very unfortunate. He got a really nasty heel injury in the early parts of the season that actually hindered him even when he came back to play again. And he wasn't fully fit for about 3.5 months of the season there, missing 2 months. But for about another month or just over that, he still wasn't at full fitness.
Despite not having these key players, Rangers showed the strength of their squad when they met third-placed Aberdeen at Pittodrie.
And it's there by Rangers, and it's Craig Moore who scores. Craig Moore gives Rangers a lead. 78 minutes. The substitution has paid off dramatically for Rangers.
When Rangers met Partick in the next match, the captain led by example with a great header. It was to be the start of a 15-goal run in the league. The next Old Firm fixture in the league saw the return of Brian Laudrup. With Rangers 4 points clear of Celtic, both teams were determined to take the honours. Despite losing an unstoppable early goal, Rangers showed their true grit with the help of the rejuvenated winger.
Got a lot of pressure in the Celtic defence, but maybe there's something on here. Robertson starts another one of those runs. Oh, it's a great pass through by Laudrup. Still it's Robertson. Got a chance here. And David Robertson. What a magnificent pass that was from Laudrup. The perfectly weighted pass.
But unfortunately for Robertson, the goal was given offside and it remained at 1-0.
Well, Rangers fans are unhappy as Celtic take possession again. That's good play by Simon Donnelly, stepping away from David Robertson. Infield now to McStay. Donnelly keeps his run going. Still it's Donnelly. Back to McStay. Good play by Celtic. Van Hooijdonk. And it's Andreas Thom. Touch from Richard Gough. This is Gascoigne. Still it's Gascoigne forcing it through. Chance on here for Laudrup. And it's a great goal by Laudrup. And this time it definitely counts. 39 minutes. Rangers 1, Celtic 1, and Laudrup, who had switched over to the right-hand side. It was Gough who got the touch. Gascoigne did well here to hold off Van Hooijdonk. Little touch by Cleland, who was under pressure, and Laudrup picked his spot. Gascoigne to strike this one. Again, Petric as well forward. Gough's there as well. Gascoigne tries one. That was a magnificent effort. Everyone looking out towards the tall figures of Petric and Gough. Gascoigne almost deceived Marshall. It's Andreas Thom who strikes it. Hughes as well forward. Claims for a penalty kick there as he was challenged, and it's given. So John Collins starts his run, and it's gone in. McCall who gets the touch. Now it's Laudrup. Driving in the cross. It's away by Hughes, only as far as McCall. That's good play by McCall. I can try one here. Well, Marshall managed to scramble it away with McCoy's coming in. Excellent effort that by Stuart McCall. Again, Gough's forward, so too is Petric. Again, there's a fair bit of movement the far side of the box. Gascoigne strikes it in. And it's there. Super Ali does it again. He's been in the field only a few minutes. It was Gascoigne who provided the cross, and McCoist with yet another header.
Ali McCoist had played in another momentous Celtic tie which ended 4-4, but the November fixture was even more memorable for him.
Well, actually, I think the 3-each game was in many ways a better game. The 4-each game, obviously, 84, 85, 86, it was magic and a great game. But the 3-3 game was fantastic because I think in many ways a lot of better football played, and both sides obviously went out to attack, and we went 1 down, we went 2-1 down, and came back to lead 3-2. And then I think, I don't know what stage of the game we were at. One of the abiding memory for me was the goalie save from Big Pierre Van Hooijdonk, the volley, his right peg, and the goalie somehow kept out. And I think once again he just broke the Celtic boys' hearts again.
McKinlay, Collins, lead off by Tom. It's Collins again. Good play by Collins. Tom, a nice change of direction, challenged by Goff. This is Tosh McKinlay, that's a great cross. What an incredible save by Andy Gorham from Van Hooijdonk.
That's one of the games you'll never forget. There's certain games you go through the years. The Leeds game at Ellen Road, the cup finals. I saw the 4-4 game years ago on television. I thought that must be an unbelievable game to play in. And that must come very close, or if not better than that game. Because even at 3-3, you thought there was still something else to come.
Well, it's Tom, getting in a good cross. In comes Tosh McKinlay, another big gap opens up and Gorham's there again. There's a Celtic player on the ground now as Rangers mount another attack. Well, it's a slack one by Boyd, almost allowing Solenka to come in. He's got it again, and it's gone in. That's an own goal. Rangers take the lead. McCoist can't believe it.
That's one of these games where really managerially we don't have a great deal of control over it. It was just the way the game was played. It was just the way it was coming up. Each team would be glad at one stage to get in front and then disappointed to lose that lead. I think Celtic equalised to make it 3-3 with just maybe 5 minutes to go or something like that. And in that time, Celtic had an opportunity and Rangers had 2 chances to score again. So it could have been a situation where it was 4 each or maybe 4-3 for one of the teams. And I must admit, it was a fantastic match to be involved in. It was great things happening in it. And although it gave me a managerial headache in terms of losing goals the way we did, still in all, it's part and parcel of that type of match.
That result kept Rangers clear of their closest rivals by 4 points. The club's success so far in the season was a great team effort, but Richard Gough was having one of his best as Ibrox captain.
Chance for Van Hooijdonk. Great tackle by Gough. Right at the last seconds.
Big Gough has been tremendous this season. I think before his injury, it's as good as I've seen him. If he'd maintained that form, he'd undoubtedly been the player of the year, and that's including Gaza and Laudrup's form, because Gough was outstanding.
I've been manager for 5 years and he's been the captain of the team for 5 years, and we've shared a great deal of success. And I think he's one of the influences that we have in the team. He's a good example to every player at Rangers, not just younger players, but all the players in the first team dressing room there. He keeps himself right. His approach to the games this season has been tremendous.
Richard Gough is undoubtedly one of Rangers' greatest captains. In his time at Ibrox, the Light Blues have won 8 league championships, 3 league cups and 3 Scottish cups. But typically Richard placed great importance on the team as a whole rather than individuals.
Obviously it's a lot easier when you're winning, you know, to have a good team spirit and everything's buzzing, everything's happening, you know. But we've never had many bad apples, I would say, in the dressing room. The dressing room's very good, the harmony within the dressing room's very good. Most of the players are, I wouldn't say live in each other's pockets, but they get on well socially together. It's been a well-known fact that we do have our nights out together and our afternoons out, which a manager maybe comes for the first couple of hours and then lets us get on with it. That's all good, and I think for the foreign players as well coming, it's good for them. They're integrated into the system straight away. And people would say things like Gascoigne and Laudrup going out together, strange pair, but Lauders is there, maybe not as long as Gascoigne and a few of the others, but he's there, and that's been part of it as well. Part of the 9 years that I've been here, the team spirit's been fantastic, and if there ever has been a bad apple in the dressing room, it's been moved on fairly quickly, you know.
Even although Richard has had an impressive record at the club he joined in season 87-88, His unflagging ambition helps drive the team forwards, and he never allows past victories to hinder his plans for the future.
I always say that to the lads, you know, what we've won is finished. Doesn't mean anything now. That's for the record books, and one day when we're old, we can look back and say we're part of a great era at Ibrox. But we've got to look forward now. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past, but we've got to look forward for new challenges. New challenge next year to make sure we get through the Champions League. We've got a great incentive to equal our rivals' nine league championships in a row. And if we can have the same type of season as we've had this season, I'll be a happy man.
December began with a tie at Tynecastle, which allowed Paul Gascoigne to show how he could command the midfield. But it was Ali McCoist who came close early in the second half.
Here's Cleland, McCoist in the middle. Well, claims for handball, the chance is still on here, it's McCoist!
Three minutes later, Rangers were awarded a penalty, and despite the advice from his teammates, Gilles Rousset couldn't stop McCoist's shot.
Hearts 0, Rangers 1. So Cleland, through for Gascoigne. Robertson's making a lot of ground on the far side. Here's Laudrup, Gascoigne again. There's a lot of movement, good movement by the Rangers players off the ball. It's Laudrup. Rangers going in for the kill now, it's Jury, it's Gascoigne, but the offside flag's up. Straight off by Cleland to Laudrup. Richards plays it through to Gascoigne. So it's Gascoigne. Laudrup's just ahead of him. This is Cleland, it's Laudrup now. Petric. Well, Hearts fans claiming a foul against Laudrup. But a lack of concentration, a chance for Rangers to finish it, and it's Gascoigne, and that ties it all up.
That match allowed Gaza to show how valuable a player he was. But December saw the start of an incredible scoring run from another talented player, Gordon Jury.
Ferguson breaks for Laudrup. Good tackle by Jackson. There's Jury. Goal number 4 for Jury.
As being a striker, you either go on one of these runs that you can never stop scoring. There's always the opposite side of the fence as well. You can go 10 or 11 games without scoring a goal, which I've done before as well, which is very frustrating. But it was nice to be in that kind of run. And it was like every game I think, oh well, I feel like I'm going to score today, sort of thing, and that's the kind of form I was in for a couple of months, which was great. And it was disappointing to have to stop it with injury and whatever. But being a striker, it's you're either up there or down.
December also brought disappointment for the team as they played their final tie in the Champions League. Although they had drawn home and away against German champions Borussia Dortmund, they were heavily defeated by competition winners Juventus. However, Walter Smith was not disheartened by their performance.
We didn't really equip ourselves well in the Steaua Bucharest game in an attacking sense over there. Over here we did far better, and I felt unfortunate to lose the goal near the end. The Borussia Dortmund games, well, I mean, if you're drawing the champions of Germany, you're expecting them to be very strong. They've managed to win the league again this season. It was a tremendous feat for them. So I think in both these games, I mean, we're obviously a wee bit biased, but I felt we deserved to win both these matches. So in terms of Rangers' progress, after changing our team round for 3 years ago, I felt that was satisfactory. Juventus have shown us how far we've got to go in the next stage. But we're not too far away from that, and a couple of extra additions to our pool in a close season could see us up about that level. And I would hope that we would be able to do that next season.
The New Year fixture at Parkhead provided the expected passion for both sides. Celtic were desperate to win, as a draw would leave Rangers 8 points clear at the top of the table.
No, it's not offside. Oh, and Mackay could have put that into his own goal. Laudrup. He's leaving Celtic in his wake. Brian Laudrup, in the end, under pressure. And Gorham has the save right on the line from Van Hooydonk. O'Donnell goes for glory himself, touched onto the post. I want to save again from Andy Gorham. Van Hooydonk was waiting, McLaren wasn't. Gascoigne. Solenko. Still Solenko. Gascoigne, a little bit of kidology. Marshall wondering what to expect. Oh, against the bar! Marshall had no answer. And the crossbar there came between Gascoigne and a goal, and between Celtic and defeat.
The next Rangers home game gave striker Ali McCoist the chance to break the legendary Bob McPhail's incredible record of 230 league goals, and it was a game he would never forget.
I never said before it, but that was the one that I wanted. You get all the league medals and you get the cup medals, and they're all fantastic. But to beat Mr McPhail's league goal scoring record was the one I wanted. When the ball hit the back of the net, it was a lot of relief and pleasure and everything, all these emotions mixed into one. And that meant probably more to me than anything.
The Championship challenge faltered when Rangers met Hearts and lost 3-0 at home through an Alan Johnson hat-trick. After such a defeat, someone was going to pay. The unfortunate opponents were from non-league football and the Highlands in the third round of the Scottish Cup. January had been an eventful month for Rangers, both on and off the field. Walter Smith had completed a deal with Turkish team Istanbulspor, which meant Russian Oleg Solenko leaving Ibrox. And ex-Ajax star Peter van Vossen coming on board. But casualties included captain Richard Gough, who picked up an injury which meant he would be out for at least 5 games. Gordon Dury's great scoring run came to an end when he had to have an operation for a groin injury. New boy Derek McInnes was also out for a time with a double hernia injury. All this came at a crucial time for the club, with Rangers only 1 point clear of Celtic and having to play both Aberdeen and Hibs away from home.
I felt that was a vital period. Celtic were really close to us. We were asked to play Sunday games because of live television, and Celtic were winning. And it put us under a wee bit of pressure to go and win, especially the 2 away games I felt were very difficult ones at Aberdeen and at Easter Road, and the boys acquitted themselves really well on both occasions there. And I think psychologically these 2 matches would have been looking, Celtic would have been looking saying, well, you know, they're going to be the difficult ones for them to win and they can drop points there. So, you know, I was really pleased to go away there and get the results that we did get. And I think, you know, these results, February-wise, gave us a wee springboard to go into the latter stages of the season.
This is Miller. Headed by Robertson, that's Brown. McCall. Play by McCall. Robertson, a long one for Laudrup to chase. It's not a bad ball either. Great pace from Laudrup. Still it's Laudrup. That must be a penalty. It is. The referee doesn't hesitate. Gascoigne gets ready now to take the spot kick. And brilliantly scored by Paul Gascoigne. A brilliant strike by the Rangers midfielder. So Robertson there going in solidly. He's got support from McCall. Waits for the referee to get out of the way, and that one just curls away at the last moment. Terrific effort. final whistle sounds, and Rangers pick up 3 vital points in the championship running.
The Hibs fixture in the capital saw the first match for internationalist Erik Bo Andersen, recently signed from the Danish side Aalborg, where he had scored 24 goals last season. But it was to be another Dane who would make his mark on the game at Easter Road.
Through for Laudrup. Trying to find an opening here. Sending it through, looking for McCall! And so unlucky. That's Anderson for Rangers. Through for Laudrup. Van Vossen's going through the middle. Craig Moore's in a lot of room on the far side of the field. Brilliant play there by Laudrup. Still it's Laudrup. And it's an own goal. Well, what a blunder there. Graham Mitchell. Just about everyone there, but now Rangers on the break. Gascoigne's going in a great run here. He's well spotted by Charlie Miller. And down he goes, it's a penalty. Well, it's going to be Laudrup to take this one. It was Gascoigne who took it last week, but perhaps not in the frame of mind. It's Laudrup who starts his run, and he makes an expert job of it. It's Hibs 0, Rangers 2.
These results made the next Old Firm tie vital for both Rangers and Celtic, but it didn't stop the pre-match banter.
Why not?
Tommy Burton's side had to win the St Patrick's Day match to keep them in touch with the championship leaders and halt their progress towards beating Celtic's record 9 league championships in a row.
Miller. Petric. Headed on by Moore. This is Laudrup. Gascoigne and McCoyster in the box. Good trickery from Laudrup. Looking for McCoyster, and O'Donnell was there. Alan McLaren got the touch, and Rangers take the lead thanks to Paul Gascoigne's free kick. Still Laudrup. Oh, it's a flying header! Well, how did that stay out from Gordon Jury?
The last phase of the match provided a dramatic finish when 10-man Celtic scored with 3 minutes to go. But this made Rangers even more determined to press for the winner.
McCall off the bar, and the follow-up header is just right as well, but McCall went so close there. This is Brown. Gascoigne, McCoy's real chance.
In the next fixture, Rangers overcame Falkirk at Ibrox by 3 goals to 2. And although it gave a first goal double to Bo Andersen, it was an unconvincing overall performance against the Brockville side. They had to regain their form when they played away at Starks Park, Kirkcaldy to ensure their continued success. But Premier League newcomers Wraith Rovers gave the Ibrox men cause for concern.
There's the field.
Ali McCoist put Rangers back on even terms with this penalty. Then new signing Theo Snelders showed he'd lost none of the ability that made him a success at Aberdeen.
Rougier. Well taken here, post by Snelders.
15 minutes later though, Wraith were awarded a penalty.
We did not play well at Kirkcaldy, and it was one of these games where Wraith Rovers could have won it. They quite easily could have won it, and we were under the cosh a little bit because, as I said earlier, Celtic were pressing us really hard, and it was vital that we took 3 points to remain at the top of the league.
Possibly when we're not playing well, we do manage to grind results out, and I think especially this season, the last sort of half a dozen games where we've possibly had the harder run in, people have said, well, we'll slip up here, there and everywhere, but I think that's where we're at our best, when we've got to win the games.
Gascoigne's corner. Up goes Petric and McCoist! The equaliser for Rangers! 7 minutes from the end. so as McCoist, this can win it! It's a magnificent save from Geddes. Still the pressure's on. Gascoigne again with a corner. Geddes at full stretch. McCoist runs it in. The goal for Rangers. McCoist has won the match for Rangers. Straight to Walter Smith he goes. 1 minute from the end.
That was one of the serious games in the championship running that got us, because we took 3 points there, and the lads thought, well, if we don't play well, which we didn't do, and get 3 points like that, then we can't be far away from winning this championship.
But the title was far from their mind when Rangers travelled to Hampden Park to meet Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final. The teams had met 5 times previously without a Celtic win. If the Light Blues were victorious, it would be the second cup competition in which Rangers had knocked out Celtic that season.
The cup semi-final was a big one for us. We'd beaten them in the League Cup, beaten them there, and when we look over the period, we're the only team that has beaten them this season domestically. But then going into the semi-final match, well, I mean, you don't come up against bigger games at any time, and especially this season, because we're in a situation where either team could have won the double if they won that semi-final match.
The first 2 were won by Rangers, the 3 since then have been draws. Gascoigne, McCoist, he's got Laudrup with him, but McCoist goes on himself. Ali McCoist, in the end, tried too much. Jury. Gascoigne started it, wants to get involved further forward from Clelland's pass. He's done well to hook it across, but Marshall should make it his against McCoist. Gascoigne. For Jury, for Gascoigne, he's taken it on, and it lacked only the finish. McCall. Laudrup spotted Robertson again, and he tried to steer it. McCoist must score! Rangers take the lead, and the holders are behind. 2 minutes to go in the first half.
It's been well documented, they've been playing well and been doing this and been doing that, but at the same time, I think this was the 6th time we're meeting in the season, and they hadn't beaten us, and that meant a lot to us. And it must have been at the back of the Celtic lads' minds, there's no doubt about it. They might say otherwise in the press, and we might say otherwise in the press, but it must have been a major factor playing in their mind.
Gascoigne, plenty in blue to his right. And in the end, he has to use them. Laudrup, Cleland even outside him. Laudrup. Oh, it's a lovely ball for Gordon Jury! It stayed, there's no one outside him, so he blasts it, Gorham fumbles, and it was the head of Brown, not the head of Van Hooydonk.
I was a bit disappointed. I'd been injured and I missed the semi-final, and a lot of people in the press were saying, you know, I was out, maybe time for Celtic to capitalise on that. But then you've got John Brown coming in, and he epitomises the spirit in our club. Mr. Reliable, he's coming for maybe the last 10 games of the season, and actually kept going. And Petric, who himself has had a terrific season as well, kept going in and out of the team for the last 2 or 3 games. John epitomises the spirit of the people at the club. You know, his desire to win is fantastic, and it spreads through the players.
Jury, Laudrup has spun clear. Brian Laudrup past Marshall, and Rangers feel they've got 1 foot in the final.
That victory not only put Rangers into the final, but again proved their superiority over their closest rivals. It was a day that would be remembered for a long time by both sides. One player had yet again made an outstanding contribution to the game, demonstrating his awareness, skill and strength like no other. He was, of course, Paul Gascoigne, a star at Newcastle, Spurs, Lazio and now Ibrox.
Good work again from Gascoigne, away from Hunter. Charging into the area now. Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, shy lad.
That Gascoigne was fantastic.
Overrated. One or two reasonable performances.
No, just good, brilliant.
Paul Gascoigne has been one of Rangers' most memorable signings, but some were sceptical when Walter Smith suggested his transfer.
I didn't really consider that to be a great gamble. You take the same gamble with any player. He was clear of the 2 serious injuries that he had, and he was like any other player. In fact, he was exceptionally fit, and I felt he would be really fresh because, you know, he hadn't played and he was coming back.
It's Gascoigne. There's the buzz going around the ground as he picks up the ball. It's Gascoigne! And a wonderful goal!
Gaza has settled well into the club and puts much of that success down to his relationship with Walter Smith.
He's done brilliant for Rangers. He buys well. But just the man being about is something special for me, like, you know, to come and play 4.3 who hadn't played for a few years and fancy this, it's nice. And like I said, he's my football his life, and it's nice to have my life back.
Paul has proved many times this season his worth to the club, and his undoubted skills are appreciated not only by the fans but by the players around him.
He's an outstanding talent, there's no doubt about that, and he's some of his stuff this season has been an absolute joy to watch. But equally, and just as important, off the park, he's brilliant to have about the place in the dressing room. He keeps everybody on their toes, and he's great fun.
He's your worst nightmare, actually, if you're ever getting changed next to him, and I get changed next to him every day. So, I mean, every time I put something on, I expect something in my sock or my socks tie cut up or my belt missing and that.
There's no airs or graces in our dressing room. I think the type of players that have came in, whether it be the biggest star, as soon as they walk in that door, they'll be shot down in flames. And to be fair to Paul, when he first came to the club, he was very nervous going into the dressing room and meeting the boys. But once they heard Geraint McCoist giving him Laudy, then I think he had to respond to that.
At first, he couldn't believe the stick he was getting from everyone was giving it, and it didn't know, with Geraint especially, didn't know how to take it, but he just falls in and everyone just gives each other stick. You've got to be able to give and take it.
But the media pressure on Paul was intense, and Walter Smith was concerned that it may affect his performance on the park.
I felt it might start to get that way, because it was even getting that way, I think, for everybody else. I mean, people themselves were fed up reading stupid trivialities about him, you know, and every game that he went into, it didn't matter what he did, it was highlighted, and there was things that you were seeing other players do, but it was only his that were getting highlighted. And I felt like that might start to make him wonder about coming to Scotland. But in fairness to the boy, he stuck it out and he got over that period. And I'm just glad that he did, because he showed people in that spell that he could play, and he settled down a great deal. If he can ever, if Paul Gascoigne can ever settle down, he settled down a bit. But what I was really delighted was that at the end of the season there, he showed everybody that, you know, what a fantastic player he is.
Then came Aberdeen. Rangers were 4 points clear at the top of the league and would be champions if they won the match. However, the Dons were determined to spoil the party.
Well struck pass by McLaren, across to David Robertson. That's McCall. Wydrop calls for it. Through now for Robertson. He's away again. Delivers the early cross, and it's Stephen Glass who whips it away. 19 and a half minutes gone now. Still no scoring here at Ibrox Stadium. Perhaps a chance for the Dons. And it's Goff who's here in the serving. And Aberdeen sensationally take the lead. Well, Goff will be unhappy that he failed to get that cross away. Here's Gascoigne now. Can he produce some magic? Still it's Gascoigne. Oh yes! A tremendous goal by Gascoigne! The perfect reply from Paul Gascoigne within 2 minutes. It's Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1. Again, it's Gascoigne to take it. It's played short to McCall. Gascoigne again. Gascoigne against Dodds. Getting in a decent cross. Well, that's quite remarkable. McLaren can't believe it. So unlucky. Oh, here's Scott Booth coming through now. And he got him, does ever so well. That could be a very important save indeed.
And it was one of these games where, the draw didn't really matter. And, we could have lost, still having to go to Kilmarnock to win the game. So that was in my mind then. I'm saying to myself, well, it looks as though that's the way it's going to be.
I could see the clock keep running, and I just remember Alan McLaren, I think, we said, come on, do a bit. And the ball come for us. And I just ran and kept on running and running. And I managed to get in the box and then just left foot around the keeper. Afterwards, the feeling was magnificent.
It's been very evenly balanced. Here's Gascoigne now, pushing forward, showing great determination. Oh, he's done it again! It's unbelievable! And Ibrox scores absolutely wild. Well, I did say he was perhaps keeping something for the closing stages. He had gone a bit quiet, but he was obviously keeping something for a lung-busting run. He goes right through the defence, and what a marvellous finish! Gorham commits himself. Jury gets a touch. Here's Laudrup. Jury's breaking forward. McCoist is away as well. McCoist is running through the middle. Gary Smith goes across to try and cut him off. It's Jury in possession. Robertson's arriving as well. The Jury goes down. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. Well, Gordon Jury missed from the penalty spot last week. It's Gascoigne who's going to take this one, and Gascoigne has already scored from the penalty spot. This for the hat-trick in the Championship. Six minutes gone, and Rangers have won the Championship.
Great feeling to win the Championship on a hat-trick. Pleased for the lads though. I've had some great times, some bad times, unlucky, but that tops the lot, I think.
An afternoon of the highest drama, a brilliant penalty, 3 absolutely stunning goals from Paul Gascoigne, and he's loving it. And he's still got a trophy to collect tonight. There goes the final whistle. Rangers are champions for the 8th consecutive season. They're champions for the 9th time in 10 years. And they're champions for the 46th time in their history.
It was kind of fairy tale stuff. Sometimes people say we take it for granted because we had won 7 championships prior to that. But I think in that moment it shows that nobody at Rangers takes it for granted. The supporters, directors, management, players, a whole lot.
The great sense of achievement was easy to see amongst the players, having been chased right to the end by Celtic. Understandably, they were very keen to celebrate this famous victory.
Probably not the most relief, it's the most satisfying because it was Celtic that was chasing us. It was in Celtic's hands to stop us and they couldn't do it.
You want that to win that.
When we did win the Championship for the first time in 2 or 3 years, people have said, well, they are not a bad team and they are better, and they were crying out for a challenge and they got one and we still won.
Oh, I'm waiting for Derby for the couldn't keep it down a bit.
Hey!
It's 8 in a row for Rangers.
Rangers had won the Premier League Championship by 4 points, scoring 85 goals in the process. But the statistics were soon forgotten as the party began at Ibrox. Following the title celebrations, Rangers returned to the more tranquil surroundings of Turnberry to prepare for the cup final. The media had placed great emphasis on the fact that Hearts had already beaten Rangers twice in the league and might do so again in the final.
I think them having won these 2 games and the fact that they talked about it quite a bit on the way up to it, I think a lot of players were a bit fed up listening to the people saying that they had beaten us twice in the league and no beat us again. So that supplied us with a bit of motivation as well, and I think we showed in the final that we were well up for it. And you know, our performance there was probably one of the best seen in a cup final for a lot of years.
Jury to Laudrup. That's good running by Laudrup, a chance here for Rangers. That's the under. Hearts were ripped asunder, and Laudrup's finish was deadly. Goff's header. Determined. Well, enjoying this all right. The run is made by Gascoigne. Foul at the edge of the area. Here's Gascoigne. Good positioning by Rousset. Jury's pass off was Laudrup with the run again, followed by McManus. Severe test for young McManus this, looking after Laudrup. And a bloomer by Rousset. Who would believe it?
And the fact that Brian turned in the performance that he did, scored 2 himself and created the other 3 for Gordon, but his general performance in the game, his overall skill and passing and everything was just a joy to watch, and a big feature of the cup final. And when you're a manager, you're pleased that a player who maybe hasn't had the spotlight in the manner he did the previous season still comes up with a reminder to everybody that he is an outstanding player.
Jury's pass, here's Laudrup. McManus goes back with him. Played it early this time, but Jury! And that was a beauty. And no more than Rangers deserve. They're totally in command. Here's McCall. Robertson towards Laudrup. He's on against McManus. He's still on his feet. And this is Jury. Jury the 4th.
I've been a wee bit unfair to him over the period. I've asked him to play in a number of positions, out wide on the right, wide on the left, into midfield on occasion, and he's never really had, you know, a steady run in his best position. And this season he's 23 goals there and good performances on top of that. He's worked harder than most and he's worked exceptionally hard for the team over that period. I was delighted that he himself got a hat-trick. Not many people can say he got a hat-trick in the cup final, and for the work that he's put in for us this season, no player deserves it any more than he does.
And here's Laudrup. Jury's inside, looking for his hat-trick. Measured for Jury. 5-1 to Rangers. Laudrup the provider, Jury the finisher.
The result meant it had been an incredible double-winning season for Rangers, who again proved their superiority over all the opposition that stood in their way. The only thing left to do was collect the trophy and begin the party. performance of the whole squad had been outstanding, but Richard Gough recognised the achievements and leadership qualities of his manager.
Walter Smith was also one of the reasons, as well as Graham Souness, that I came back to Rangers. You know, I knew from my time at Dundee United the type of man he was, really honest man, and had a good working relationship with him then. And I thought the boy might do well in the game, you know. So I hung my flag on him, and it's proved to be right. You know, people have said to me right after the game that the manager took a bit of criticism earlier on this season, and what did I have to say about that? I said, the man's just got to show you his CV. I said, he doesn't need to say anything more than that. And he's going down as one of the most successful managers in Rangers history. He's equalled Bill Struth's record of 5 championships in a row. You know, 3 Scottish Cup finals he's won, 3 full League Cup finals as well. And he's still going. He's still a young man. I think people have mentioned, the gaff will go upstairs, but he's a young man. He doesn't need to go upstairs. I can see him being in the job here for as long as he wants to be in the job. But on a personal point of view, you know, he's been good for me.
It means everything is to be successful. People keep asking me about what motivates you. At Rangers, we must win. That's the simple motivation for everybody that's here. But that motivation never really decreases, especially when you're a manager. It's your job to try and win things and guide the team through all that. And it meant everything. I like Archie and myself over the season. The problems that you've got to overcome when you manage to win a double is terrific. We face probably what will be the biggest challenge from Celtic. Their motivation to stop us getting down in a row will be enormous. But that's a challenge you accept at Rangers, and we'll be ready for it as well.
That was as good as ever. He'll send us all! He'll send us all to sleep!